Shotgun. DC right. Flip 90, dig. On the center. Ready?
A football comedy that critics gave 41% on Rotten Tomatoes. A star who took a pay cut so enormous his accountant probably needed a defibrillator. A legendary actor who almost walked away before the cameras even rolled. And a league so uncomfortable with the true story behind the film that they refused to lend it their name. The Replacements, 2000. Keanu Reeves stepped off the Matrix and into a football uniform.
You're late.
Car trouble.
And what happened behind the scenes was stranger than anything on screen. Today we're counting down the 16 wildest facts, including the moment the man who played a fictional coach ended up narrating the documentary about the real team his character was based on. Let's go. Number 16. The man who became a quarterback. Keanu Reeves was coming off The Matrix and looked nothing like a quarterback. Lean, built for slow-motion bullet dodging. The production had a problem, so Reeves spent 3 months fixing it. He gained 23 pounds, worked with former NFL coaches before filming, and studied John Elway to understand how elite quarterbacks move and command a huddle. He practiced dropbacks until they became instinct and memorized play-calling terminology until it rolled off his tongue. By the time cameras rolled, Reeves wasn't pretending to be a quarterback. He was one. Number 15. The true story. They fictionalized just enough. In 1987, NFL players walked off the field demanding better pay and free agency rights. Team owners brought in replacement players, semi-pros, retired athletes, men working ordinary jobs when the call came. The Washington Redskins won all 3 replacement games and rode that momentum to Super Bowl II, demolishing the Denver Broncos. The movie fictionalized the team as the Washington Sentinels. The filmmakers changed enough to avoid lawsuits, not much else. Number 14. Hackman almost said no. Gene Hackman was a 2-time Academy Award winner who could afford to be selective. His first instinct when approached for Coach McGinty
What I'm talking about is what scares us on the field.
What you mean, like spiders on the field?
was to decline. The problem was Hoosiers. Hackman had played Coach Norman Dale in the 1986 Basketball Classic, defining how audiences saw him, the tough, inspirational coach who believed in second chances. Taking another coaching role felt like retreading covered ground. The filmmakers argued McGinty was fundamentally different, quieter, more philosophical. Hackman read the script and saw something in a character who gave discarded players one last shot. He signed on. Number 13. The injury nobody talked about. The training was physically brutal and genuinely dangerous. During practice, Reeves sustained a stinger injury, nerve compression in the neck and shoulder that causes temporary paralysis. What made it terrifying? He had undergone neck fusion surgery years earlier. A serious neck injury didn't mean just pain. It meant the potential for permanent damage. He kept going anyway. Number 12. The 90%. The production budget was tight and Hackman commanded top dollar. Affording both stars at market rate was not possible. Reeves solved the problem himself. He reportedly offered to cut as much as 90% of his salary to free up budget for Hackman, a number never confirmed but widely described as a massive sacrifice.
Now get the hell out of my locker room!
Coach, what the hell took you so long?
This wasn't the first time. Reeves had done the same on The Devil's Advocate to afford Al Pacino. Hackman signed on. Number 11. The Super Bowl winner in the huddle. The production brought in Jim McMahon, the Chicago Bears quarterback who had led the team to victory in Super Bowl XX, as the film's football consultant. McMahon taught the cast how to read defenses, use audibles, and call plays with the combinations of numbers, colors, and code words that tell 11 players what to do while keeping the defense guessing. When actors got it wrong, real athletes corrected real mistakes between takes. Number 10. The replacements behind the replacements. When the fictional league's players go on strike, so do the cheerleaders. Head cheerleader Annabelle has to assemble a replacement squad and faces the same problem as the coach. The people who would normally fill these roles are not available. The solution she lands on is exotic dancers. They have performance experience, they know how to command attention, and they showed up when nobody else did. The replacement cheerleaders were added during rewrites specifically to create comic contrast. It became one of the film's most talked about scenes. Number 9. The stadium that made it real. The SciNet Stadium in Baltimore agreed to let the production film during the off-season. Instead of sets or green screen, the cameras captured real NFL infrastructure. Reeves later said stepping onto that field made him feel like he was actually leading a team. Around 2,000 local fans were hired as paid extras. Between takes, crew members moved the same groups to different sections. The same 2,000 people appear across multiple sections of the finished film. 2,000 people doing the work of 70,000. A Super Bowl winner teaching a movie star how to call plays. A star who gave away most of his salary to make it happen. Up to here. What nobody on screen knew. From here, starting with the man who made the comedy funnier by refusing to acknowledge it was a comedy at all. Number 8. The straight man who stole the film. Hackman made a deliberate creative decision. He would play Coach McGinty completely straight. No winking at the camera, no playing for laughs. Genuine disappointment when things went wrong, genuine authority when they didn't. The choice was calculated. If one character treated everything as real, the absurdity around him would become funnier by contrast. When Favreau's psychotic linebacker does something deranged and Hackman responds with quiet authority, it lands harder than if he had played along. The comedy amplified because one person refused to acknowledge it. Number 7. The Man Called Footsteps. Before Shane Falco gets his second chance, the film establishes exactly how far he has fallen. He choked in the Sugar Bowl at Ohio State, and that single game defined everything that followed. His opponents gave him the nickname Footsteps.
Look, man, here comes Falco. Falco's back. What happened to Martell?
Because he scrambled out of the pocket too early, every time. One game, one nickname, the rest of his career gone. At the start of the film, he is scraping barnacles off boat hulls, within sight of a boat he can no longer afford. The Sugar Bowl footage plays on a television in the background of the opening scene. He is the only one still trying to forget it. Number 6. The league that wanted nothing to do with it. When the producers approached the NFL about licensing the league's name and logos, they expected a straightforward negotiation. The NFL said no immediately. The 1987 strike was still a sensitive subject, and the league had no interest in revisiting it. Without cooperation, the filmmakers built an entirely fictional universe. The team is the Washington Sentinels. The league is never called the NFL in the script. Every uniform and logo was designed from scratch. The league that refused to participate forced the production to invent everything from nothing. Number 5. The tryout nobody expected. During filming, the Baltimore Ravens, the actual tenants of Sinet Stadium, watched Keanu Reeves work. What they saw impressed them enough to offer him a real tryout, not a publicity stunt, a genuine evaluation of whether the actor might be worth looking at as a professional athlete. Reeves declined. He was, after all, in the middle of making a film, but the offer stands as the most unexpected review a performance has ever received before the movie was even finished. Number 4. The linebacker who took it too far. Jon Favreau played Daniel Bateman, a SWAT officer who functions normally in everyday life and becomes a different person the moment he's in an adversarial situation. The character was written as unhinged. Favreau played him as something closer to genuinely dangerous. He threw himself into the physical scenes with an enthusiasm that concerned the stunt coordinators, delivering hits that looked brutal because the commitment behind them was real. When Favreau was on set for a physical scene, it was not a comfortable place to be. Number 3. Jack Warden's last film. Jack Warden, who played team owner Edward O'Neill, had been working in Hollywood since the 1950s. 12 Angry Men, Shampoo, Heaven Can Wait, 2 Academy Award nominations. The Replacements was his final film before his death in 2006. He retired from acting after completing it. It was the last thing he ever made. Number 2. The man who narrated his own story. Years after the film was released, Hackman was invited to narrate an NFL Network documentary about the 1987 Washington Redskins, the actual team his fictional character was based on. The players who had gone on strike, the replacement players who had won those games.
Okay. On 3. Everyone move left.
He had played a made-up version of their coach in a movie the NFL had refused to support. Now he narrated the true story of the people his character was based on. He told both versions of the same event. One of them he invented, one of them was real. Number 1. The film nobody wanted that nobody could stop watching. Keanu gave up most of his salary, trained for 3 months, gained 23 pounds, and sustained a nerve injury that could have ended his career. The NFL refused to license its name. Critics gave the film 41%. The budget barely broke even. None of it mattered. The Replacements became the film people put on when they needed to believe that a second chance was possible. For a washed-up quarterback scraping barnacles off boats. For a Super Bowl winner coaching misfits. For a studio comedy that had no business being as watchable as it turned out to be. Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.